Have you ever felt pressure, like you have to have someone beside you just to feel whole? Maybe you've wondered why, in a world that celebrates independence, so many mature women still captivate us in ways we can't fully explain. What's really behind that magnetic pull? Is it just charm or something deeper? Something psychological, even philosophical? Today, I want to share with you insights drawn from Carl Jung's profound understanding of the unconscious, combined with the Stoic mindset's practical wisdom. Together, they reveal 6 habits that make a mature woman truly irresistible, not just superficially attractive, but compelling on a soul-deep level. By the end of this video, you'll see why her power isn't about looks or fleeting charm. It's about emotional mastery, shadow work, healing from past wounds, and owning her authentic self. You'll understand how she balances vulnerability with strength, how her unconscious drives shape her presence, and how the Stoic discipline of controlling emotions brings a quiet but powerful lure. If you're a man navigating relationship self-doubt or emotional confusion, these insights will challenge and inspire you. They'll help you recognize what truly attracts, not just women but people, when they're on a path of genuine self-development. Before we dive in, I want to invite you to hit that subscribe button and comment below with your experience. Have you met someone who seemed magnetic yet grounded? What habit of hers struck you most? Your story matters, and together we grow stronger. Now, let's explore what Carl Jung and the Stoics teach us about irresistible maturity in women, and why it matters for your own growth, emotional control, and healing journey. Habit 1. She faces her shadow without fear. Carl Jung introduced the concept of the shadow, the hidden, often uncomfortable parts of ourselves that we deny or refuse to see. These shadows aren't just flaws. They're the unacknowledged fears, insecurities, and wounds lurking beneath our polished exterior. Jung believed that true psychological growth begins when we confront these aspects honestly, without fear or denial. This idea resonates deeply with anyone who has struggled with feelings they don't want to admit or behaviors they can't explain. As Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. In practical terms, this means that a mature, truly irresistible woman is not one who pretends to be perfect or flawless, but one who has the courage to face her shadow. This process is often uncomfortable and messy because it forces her to confront what she's been avoiding, whether it's old wounds, fears of inadequacy, or unresolved trauma. The journey of shadow work is about owning these parts of ourselves, integrating them, and moving toward wholeness. From a Stoic perspective, this acceptance of inner darkness aligns perfectly with the philosophy's core principle. While we cannot control external events or the past, we can control how we respond to them. The Stoic mindset teaches us to embrace reality as it is, including our imperfections, and to exercise reason over our emotions. It's not about suppressing feelings, but about recognizing their origins and choosing a response grounded in calm and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Consider Sarah, a successful executive who is usually composed at work, but unexpectedly lashes out at her husband, John, during an argument. One evening, John gently asks, "Why do you get so angry when I bring up the past?" Sarah pauses and admits, "Because I'm afraid I'll never be enough." That confession cracks open her shadow, her hidden fear of inadequacy and vulnerability she's tried to suppress. From a Jungian view, Sarah's anger is a projection of her unacknowledged pain. She hasn't yet integrated this part of herself, so it manifests as defensiveness and frustration toward John. This defense mechanism is her psyche's way of protecting fragile self-esteem, but ultimately causes conflict and distance. The Stoic viewpoint would highlight that while Sarah cannot change her past or John's actions, she has the power to control her emotional reactions. Her initial outburst reflects a loss of control, but through deliberate practice, she can learn to respond with equanimity and insight. Instead of reacting from fear, she can accept her emotions, understand their source, and choose a measured, thoughtful response. Imagine driving a car through heavy fog, unsure what's ahead. Without clearing the windshield, Every obstacle feels like a surprise or threat. Shadow work is like wiping away that fog, bringing clarity and awareness, so we can navigate life without being blindsided by unconscious fears. The lesson here is profound yet simple. The anger or pain we direct outward often masks the part of ourselves we haven't healed. What you resist persists, Jung warned. True growth begins when we stop blaming others or circumstances and start embracing our inner shadow with compassion and courage. If we ignore this shadow, it controls us from the dark corners of our psyche, shaping our reactions and limiting our freedom. We mistake its influence for fate or external forces. But the moment we bring it into the light, we reclaim our power. As Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Habit 2. She cultivates emotional self-mastery. Emotional mastery isn't about pushing feelings down or pretending they don't exist. It's about understanding where those feelings come from and learning how to guide them wisely. Carl Jung taught us that much of our behavior is driven by unconscious emotions, those hidden currents beneath our awareness that shape how we react and relate to others. He called this process individuation, becoming whole by integrating these unconscious parts into conscious awareness. Meanwhile, the Stoics spoke of apatheia, which means freedom from destructive passions, not the absence of emotion, but control over how those emotions affect us. Take Michael, for example. He struggles with jealousy, a common and painful emotion that can easily spiral out of control. His girlfriend, Lisa, remains calm in stressful moments, even when Michael's jealousy flares. When Michael asks her how she manages this, Lisa simply replies, "I practice patience and remind myself that I only control my response." This is emotional maturity in action. She doesn't deny her feelings or act coldly. Instead, she acknowledges her emotions but lets reason guide her reaction. From a Jungian perspective, Michael's jealousy represents a shadow element, an unconscious fear of loss or inadequacy that he hasn't fully faced. His jealousy is a projection of these unresolved parts onto external situations, like a spotlight revealing where his insecurities lie. Lisa's calmness, by contrast, shows she has integrated more of her unconscious drives with her conscious mind, allowing her to respond with resilience rather than reactivity. Jung would say she's further along the path of individuation, where the self becomes whole by embracing both light and shadow. Stoicism reinforces this by teaching that we cannot control others or external events, but we have full control over our own judgments and responses. Lisa's approach embodies this perfectly. She chooses not to let jealousy or frustration rule her actions, instead focusing on what is within her power, her own mindset and behavior. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This mindset brings inner calm, which naturally creates a safe and inviting emotional space for others. Imagine trying to drive a car while your windshield is covered in mud. You can barely see the road ahead. Unconscious emotions act like that mud, clouding judgment and making it easy to react impulsively. Emotional mastery is the process of cleaning that windshield, so you can navigate life clearly and confidently, even when the road gets rough. One evening, Michael and Lisa sit on their couch after a tense day. Michael's voice is tight. "I hate how I get jealous over things I know don't make sense." Lisa reaches for his hand and says softly, "I feel that too sometimes, but I remind myself it's my reaction that matters. I can't control what happens, but I can choose how I respond." Michael nods slowly, realizing that his emotional storms aren't caused by Lisa, but by parts of himself he hasn't yet understood. What we often mistake as external triggers are really reflections of our inner shadows, unacknowledged fears, or unmet needs projecting outward. Until we bring those unconscious parts into the light, they will continue to drive us, often in ways that hurt ourselves and those we care about. Emotional mastery means embracing those feelings without being overwhelmed, using reason to guide us rather than being led by uncontrolled passion. If you don't understand your shadow, it will control you and you'll call it fate. But the moment you recognize and accept it, you reclaim your freedom. Emotional maturity is not about being perfect or emotionless. It's about becoming whole, balanced, and resilient. That is the true power that draws others in and creates lasting connection. Habit 3. She honors her authentic self beyond social masks. Everyone wears a persona, a social mask crafted to fit expectations, roles, and the world's demands. Carl Jung called this a persona, the outward identity we show others, often hiding our true feelings and vulnerabilities. While this mask serves an important function, helping us navigate society, it can become exhausting and alienating when it's the only version of ourselves we reveal. Jung taught that true individuation, or becoming whole, requires us to peel back these layers, to confront and reveal the authentic self beneath the mask. Consider Emma, a high-achieving professional admired by many for her poise and success. On the surface, she appears confident and composed, but behind closed doors, she feels drained and disconnected. One evening, sitting with her close friend Mark after a long week, Emma admits, "I'm tired pretending. I want to be seen, not just admired." This confession is powerful. It reveals her yearning to move beyond the surface-level approval that the persona brings, and instead connect through genuine vulnerability. From a Jungian perspective, Emma's persona has been a protective shield, but it's also been a barrier to true intimacy and self-acceptance. The mask hides not only insecurities, but also the deeper parts of her identity, her fears, hopes, and imperfections. Jung believed that the process of individuation involves recognizing these hidden aspects and integrating them into a unified self. Only then can a person live authentically and fully. Stoicism complements this by teaching acceptance of oneself and others as they are, rather than chasing external validation or pretending to be flawless. The Stoics encourage living according to nature, which means embracing your true character, including flaws, weaknesses, and limitations. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "Don't waste time on what you cannot control." This wisdom applies here. You cannot control others' opinions, so why exhaust yourself maintaining a mask to win their approval? Emma's decision to drop her mask is an act of courage and self-acceptance. It allows her to be honest about her struggles and desires, which in turn fosters deeper connections. This authenticity builds real confidence, not the brittle kind that depends on others' admiration, but the steady kind grounded in self-knowledge. It also invites others to lower their own guards, creating genuine relationships based on truth rather than illusion. Imagine Emma at a dinner with Mark. She says, "I'm not perfect. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed and unsure, but I'm done pretending that I have it all together." Mark responds, "Thank you for sharing that. I feel closer to you now." This simple exchange shows how dropping persona creates space for real understanding and connection. The social mask can feel like armor, but it's also a prison. True freedom comes when you accept your whole self, light and shadow alike, and stop performing just to please others. Like a tree shedding dead leaves each fall, releasing persona allows the authentic self to grow and flourish. In essence, the irresistible power of a mature woman lies not in perfection or social polish, but in the brave vulnerability of authenticity. By embracing her true self, flaws and all, she becomes magnetic, because real confidence and connection arise only from honesty, not pretense. Habit 4. She pursues healing and growth relentlessly. Healing is rarely a quick fix. It's a continuous journey that requires patience, courage, and self-awareness. Carl Jung, the pioneer of analytical psychology, believed that unhealed wounds, whether emotional, psychological, or spiritual, keep us trapped in repetitive patterns. These unresolved issues form what Jung called the shadow, parts of ourselves we deny or reject, but that influence our behaviors and relationships in unseen ways. Until we face and integrate these shadows, we remain stuck, often reliving the same painful cycles without understanding why. Jessica's story illustrates this perfectly. For years, she avoided vulnerability, carrying the weight of past betrayals that left her guarded and mistrustful. She built walls around her heart to protect herself, but in doing so, she also shut out genuine connection and growth. Eventually, The emotional exhaustion and loneliness push her to seek therapy. Through this process, she began what Jung called shadow work, the deliberate, often uncomfortable effort to confront her fears, unmet needs, and suppressed emotions. This process was far from easy. Jessica had to face truths she had long avoided. The pain of rejection, her fear of being seen as weak, and the underlying self-doubt that fueled her defensive behaviors. But with time and persistence, she started to break free from old patterns. Here, the philosophy of Stoicism offered her powerful guidance. The Stoics taught that while we cannot control external events or the actions of others, we do have control over our thoughts and responses. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Jessica embraced this idea, viewing her pain not as a curse but as a catalyst for growth. By living according to these principles, Jessica cultivated resilience, a quiet, steady strength that didn't depend on outward circumstances or validation. She accepted that pain and struggle are natural parts of life and growth, not signs of failure. This acceptance didn't mean resignation, but a deeper understanding that healing is a process, not a destination. Jessica's transformation didn't happen overnight. It took months, even years of consistent effort, reflection, and courage to face her inner darkness. But with each step, she became more whole, more grounded, and more capable of authentic connection. Her resilience became an invisible force that inspired those around her, friends, family, colleagues, because genuine strength is magnetic in a way physical beauty alone never is. Think of healing like the slow formation of a river cutting through rock. It's persistent and patient, shaping the landscape gently but powerfully over time. Jessica's journey shows us that true healing is not about erasing pain, but about learning to live with it wisely and gracefully. The lesson here is clear. If we ignore our wounds, they control us. But if we face them with honesty and acceptance, they become the very source of our strength and magnetism. As Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Healing brings us closer to that light, not by denying the darkness, but by integrating it fully into who we are. Habit 5, she integrates her masculine and feminine energies. Carl Jung's concept of Anima and Animus reveals a profound truth about human psychology. Within every woman lies a masculine aspect, embodying qualities like logic, assertiveness, and strength, while within every man resides a feminine aspect, characterized by intuition, empathy, and emotional sensitivity. This inner balance is essential for psychological wholeness and maturity. For a woman, embracing both her anima and animus means recognizing and integrating these complementary energies, creating a harmony that is not only internally fulfilling, but also deeply attractive to others. Take Rachel, for example. She's a project manager known for her ability to lead with clarity and decisiveness, traits traditionally considered masculine. At the same time, she relies heavily on her intuitive understanding of people and situations, a quality linked to the feminine. Rather than feeling confined by societal expectations of what a woman should be, Rachel embraces this dynamic balance. She trusts her analytical mind to make strategic decisions and her emotional insight to connect with her team empathetically. This integration allows her to navigate complex work environments with grace and effectiveness, commanding respect without sacrificing warmth. From a Stoic perspective, this balance aligns perfectly with the ideal of living according to reason while cultivating emotional wisdom. Stoicism encourages us to master our rational faculties, using logic and clear judgment to guide our actions, while also understanding and moderating our emotions, rather than being controlled by them. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's greatest philosophers, reminded us that if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This highlights the importance of rational control over emotional impulses, but not the suppression of emotions altogether. Emotional intelligence and rationality must work in tandem for true inner harmony. Rachel's example embodies the Stoic ideal. She does not deny her emotions or intuition, but neither is she ruled by them. Instead, She harmonizes her inner masculine and feminine energies, channeling assertiveness and empathy in ways that complement each other. This balance makes her not only effective but magnetic, a person who exudes both strength and softness, logic and sensitivity. Imagine Rachel during a critical project meeting. Her team faces unexpected challenges, and tensions rise. Rather than reacting impulsively, Rachel listens carefully, assessing the facts with a clear mind. She acknowledges the team's frustrations, validating their feelings without getting swept away by them. Then she calmly offers a decisive plan forward, blending her rational leadership with empathy. This ability to balance these traits inspires confidence and loyalty. Jung believed that individuation, the process of becoming one's true self, depends on recognizing and integrating these inner opposites. The mature woman who embraces both her anima and animus becomes whole, no longer fragmented by societal roles or internal conflicts. Similarly, Stoicism teaches us that living in accordance with nature means accepting and harmonizing all parts of ourselves. This integration creates a powerful energy, one that is at once soft yet strong, intuitive yet logical. It draws people in because it feels authentic and balanced, reflecting a deep inner peace and resilience. In today's world, where roles and expectations are constantly shifting, the ability to embrace both logic and emotion, strength and sensitivity, is more valuable than ever. Ultimately, this balance is not just about attraction. It's about living a fulfilling, resilient life. As Jung said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. By embracing our inner masculine and feminine, we transform ourselves in the world around us, becoming truly irresistible in the process. Habit 6. She practices Stoic acceptance and clarity. The final habit that defines a mature woman's irresistible strength is clarity and acceptance, a principle deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. To embody this mindset means to face life's realities without denial or resentment, to embrace what happens without clinging to false hopes or grudges. This serene acceptance does not signal passivity or defeat. Rather, it reveals a profound inner power that comes from understanding what is within one's control and what is not. Sophia's story illustrates this perfectly. After a painful breakup, many might expect her to spiral into bitterness or despair. But instead, she chose a different path. She said, "I cannot control others' actions, but I control how I rebuild myself." This statement captures the essence of Stoic wisdom, acknowledging that external events are beyond our command, but our responses remain firmly within our power. It's this conscious choice to accept fate calmly while taking responsibility for one's own growth that builds true resilience. Carl Jung's psychology complements this idea with his concept of individuation, the lifelong process of becoming whole by integrating the conscious and unconscious parts of ourselves. Acceptance plays a crucial role here. By embracing our circumstances, including loss and hardship, we stop resisting reality and instead learn from it. This process brings clarity, helping us shed illusions and face life with sober wisdom. Jung famously said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Sophia's acceptance is exactly this. She confronts the darkness of her loss and chooses to transform it. From the Stoic perspective, this habit is the epitome of emotional mastery. Epictetus, one of Stoicism's most influential teachers, taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Sophia exemplifies this teaching by refusing to waste energy on regret or anger. Instead, she channels her focus inward, rebuilding herself with intention and grace. This attitude reflects the Stoic ideal of amor fati, love of fate. To love fate means to embrace every event, good or bad, as necessary and meaningful. Sophia's calm confidence is magnetic because it comes from this deep clarity and acceptance. It's a quiet power, not flashy or demanding, but undeniable. She doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Her strength lies in the way she carries herself, unshaken by loss, grounded in the present, and open to whatever comes next. This state of being naturally draws others in because it radiates authenticity and peace. Imagine Sophia one afternoon, talking to a close friend about her breakup. Her friend, worried, asks, "How do you stay so composed after everything?" Sophia smiles gently and replies, "I realize holding on to resentment only hurts me. I can't control his choices, but I can control mine. So I choose to move forward without bitterness." This conversation reveals the essence of her transformation: clarity about what she can change, acceptance of what she cannot, and a deliberate choice to live with dignity. This mindset is not easy to cultivate. It requires practice, patience, and sometimes pain. But the reward is profound: freedom from the emotional turmoil that traps so many. For mature women, this clarity and acceptance become a foundation for all other strengths: resilience, wisdom, and emotional self-control. It's what allows them to navigate life's uncertainties with grace and emerge stronger. In a world where many resist reality or get lost in frustration, this serene acceptance sets mature women apart. They don't fight the current, they learn to swim with it. This effortless flow, grounded in Stoic wisdom and Jungian self-awareness, is what makes them truly irresistible. Ultimately, Sophia's journey teaches us that real power comes from within. When we stop fighting what we cannot change and focus on how we respond, we step into a strength that no external event can shake. This is the essence of the Stoic path: not to be ruled by fate, but to master ourselves in the face of it. So what do we learn from Carl Jung and the Stoics about what makes a mature woman truly irresistible? It's not just about looks or charm. It's the courage to face her shadow, the emotional mastery to regulate feelings, the authenticity to show her true self, the relentless pursuit of healing, the balance of inner energies, and the wisdom to accept life's uncertainties with calm clarity. These habits reflect deep psychological work, shadow work that Jung insisted is necessary for individuation, and a practical Stoic mindset that teaches us to control our responses, not external events. For you, watching this, the lesson is clear. You can't control the world or other people's feelings, but you can understand yourself and choose new ways to respond. Are you living out old emotional reactions, or are you ready to embrace growth and clarity? I encourage you to reflect honestly today. Where in your life are you still reacting from past wounds? How might cultivating a Stoic mindset and doing your own shadow work transform your relationships and your self-confidence? If this video helped you see the power of emotional healing and self-awareness, please like, share it with friends who might benefit, and leave a comment below sharing your experience. Join our community. Subscribe to Stoic Way of Life for more deep dives into psychology, Stoicism, and authentic growth. Thank you for watching. Your journey toward maturity and irresistible presence begins with awareness. See you in the next video.